I didn't even film what I meant to film. So I was going to just do it again. But even though I didn't film what I wanted to film, what I said was pretty much what I wanted to say in that video. So I don't really want to do it again. And as well, the main reason as well, it's quite a nice thing on a lot of YouTube channels. Like, you watch the latest video and it's like really well done. Maybe there's some really good video editing in there. Maybe they even use CGI, all nice lighting and that. And then on the same channel, you go back to the first video and it's like filmed on a potato or whatever. And I kind of want this channel to be like that, where first video is terrible and it slowly gets better over time. Because in a way it's quite good that that video was bad, because now I've got a place to improve from. So this video is going to be like a follow on from the last video. I'm going to quickly summarize what I was saying in the last video if it's too awful for you to watch, and then carry on the same theme. And what was going on about what had sprung me into action in terms of making a YouTube channel was this terrible social media ban on under 16s in the UK. Because the main thing why it's so bad is that to enforce it, they're going to enforce it the same way they did with this previous legislation called the Online Safety Act, which is going to force you, the websites, if they don't do this, you get a big fine, force you to give up a photo of yourself or your passport photo or your driving license to access that website if you're over 16. And we're talking normal websites, we're talking Instagram, we're talking Reddit, we're talking Facebook. And obviously it's not going to be the government that's keeping that information. It's going to be, that information is going to be some third-party company in Trump's America, where Trump's going to go, I've got all this data, I demand access to it. So that's now linked to your Reddit. You go to America for whatever reason and they're not letting you in there. ICE is putting you in jail because you posted some shit on Reddit that criticised them or whatever, you know. And as well as that, like, that third party company might lose your data, your identity is stolen. And the surveillance, just the surveillance of it, it's before the advent on the internet, we wouldn't accept this level of surveillance. We'd think it was what the Stasi in Eastern Germany would do, you know. It's like what would happen in 1984, where they literally have a TV in their room that they can't turn off, that watches them the whole time. That's what the internet's going to be, and it's going to change the whole of the internet for the worse. Because if you're putting your ID in, and then they can link back to you whatever you've said on a forum, like, that's in the back of your mind when you post. You're going to be like, I want to post what I want to post, but if I do, like, is my boss eventually going to read this? When I want a loan or whatever, they're going to be able to buy this data and see what I've posted on Reddit. You know, if I go to a job, are they a big company? Are they going to buy this data and see what I posted on Reddit? And the internet is not going to be the same as it was. And apart from that point, even if magically they could enforce this without doing that draconic, sorry, I'm not doing what I'm meant to do, I'm just talking. If they could magically do that without having this draconic surveillance, which is a real point, by the way, it's not actually to protect children, it'd still be really, really bad, because, you know, all the reasons I said yesterday, you know, it's for 16-year-olds. They only want to go on Facebook. It's not a big deal. I know there's bad stuff on Facebook, but why throw the water out with the baby out with the bathwater? You know, they're not even going to be able to play on Fortnite, and it's going to cut them off, some vulnerable people, from their friends. It's going to cut them off from valuable resources online that could have helped them. Like, say, if they're in a rural area, they don't have many friends at school, it's going to prevent them from being able to make new friends online, because they're going to do this on multiplayer games as well. There's all sorts of things that why this law is just terrible. But since yesterday, I was looking at some of the videos of other people who are speaking out against this this horrible law, and there's a YouTube channel called The Tabernacle. I don't agree with him on everything, but I think you should sometimes do that. I think you should sometimes watch channels that you don't necessarily agree with them on everything, because even if you do disagree, it's good to hear other viewpoints. It reinforces why you believe what you believe. But also, sometimes you do agree with him, and I really agreed with his very good points on this horrible fascist, I would say, ban on social media for the under 16s. And his point was, you get parents who are massively in favour of this like 1984 style law where everyone's going to be impacted, everyone's going to be giving their data to dodgy companies just to use the websites that they want to use, and they're in favour of this because it'll protect the children, you know, and it's this real wanting to like control control their children, and they're willing to let fascism in by the, maybe I'm being a bit melodramatic, but instead of fashion, let's say surveillance in by the back door, as long as it means that their kids won't see something online that they don't want them to. But the thing is, there's already parental controls. If they just took an interest in it and set the apps up properly, there's no need for everyone to have to give up their ID. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing these things off the cuff, because in my head I had it all planned out, and I'm sort of stumbling a little bit. I'm sorry about that. I'll maybe in the future start writing scripts and stuff. As I say, I want this channel to improve as it goes along. So what was I saying? Yeah, the willing to sacrifice as everyone else's freedom and liberty online, because the way we had online before this and this kind of thing, it was kind of great, because before online, if you remember, before Web 2.0, they used to call it when I was young, but now it's called social media. Everything that you saw in the media was something rich people wanted you to see, something that Mr. Murdoch wanted you to see, and the BBC wanted you to see, and you couldn't find an alternative viewpoint. And now through social media, you can, and Reddit and things, but that's going to go away, because you're going to have to be putting your ID in the whole time, and they're going to be tracking you and tracing you, and it's not going to be the same as it was. But yeah, the Tabernacle's point was it basically encourages bad parents who want to be controlling, and it's like a bit of a grey area, because there's this advert that's like a government advert, and it's the gist of the advert, it's like on at the cinema sometimes, it's like, oh, if your partner is like going through your phone and looking what you've looked at online and not letting you use your social media, that's abuse, and you need to ring this government number and go on this government website to check on like that, and anyone that this is happening to, that you know. And that's right, that's correct, it is that, but the grey area is that like it's seen as perfectly normal for a parent to do that to their kids, and below a certain age it is a good thing that they're doing that, because like a 10-year-old say shouldn't be looking at whatever they want on the internet. Is a good parent who's like checks into that. But this ban is for under 16s, it's for 16, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and if you're going to be a fully rounded person, as I said yesterday, at those ages you should be moving towards becoming a fully fledged adult, because at 16 you're going to be an adult in 2 years. And my experience anyway, the people who end up being most well-rounded are people who get that a little bit at the time, and by the time they're 18 they've already done stuff, you know. And this law is like encouraging and being like, oh, you're 15-year-old, you're 16-year-old, they shouldn't have any independence and you should not let them go online and speak to their friends, and like it's implying that everything that they do should be approved by the parent, and the parent should know what they're doing and what they're saying all the time. And it's like encouraging this like controlling style of parenting, where like the young person's completely under the control of the parent. And that's a good thing when they're like in primary school, when they're like 10, but like this is a ban for under 16s, and when you're 16 you should be a couple of years away from being an adult, and you need some kind of private life. And if you've got controlling parents and they don't let you like go outside and do your own thing, social media could be the internet could be a good place for that. So yeah, the Kavanagh points that out in his video, and I'm gonna link it in the bio because I think that's a good thing. Yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say. But yeah, his main point is that they're using this "all but the children" thing to introduce laws that people would never accept otherwise. And that is true, because I spoke to someone today who's got young children, and remember, I can't remember the age that it is, you're not allowed a Facebook account until you're like 13 or something. Like if you try and make a Facebook account and you put you're under, I think it's 13, it will not let you have the account. Obviously you can just lie about that before this draconic law comes in, but you'd hope as a good parent he's got the appropriate parental controls, blah blah blah. And his kids are like younger than they're quite young, so he's worrying about in favour of this ban for something that doesn't even affect him, because his kids are too young to be on Facebook. They like wouldn't be allowed the account, and for that he's like ruining the internet in favour of Keir Starmer ruining the internet for everyone. And you see this you see this a lot, like with the Online Safety Act, which I said yesterday, like if they'd not introduced that they wouldn't be able to do this now. It's like what's called salami tactics, where like first they go for like the pornographers and no one would speak out because he wants to admit to being into like looking at that, and then they're going for everyone's social media and there's no one left to speak out. But the thing is, like this whole "oh but the children," it's not a new thing. Like, I remember when I was young, it was violent video games. It was like, oh no, look, people are going on, children are going on Grand Theft Auto, and it lets you do all this stuff, you know, it lets you run people over, kill people, whatever, and oh no, this is terrible. And before that, like Mortal Kombat and things. But at that time, the people saying, oh, we should just ban it for everyone. We should ruin it for everyone, because what if a kid goes on it, something that's clearly a certificate 18, the kid might get it. People were sensible enough to go, well, we're not in favour of banning it. We know maybe it's not great, but we believe in freedom of speech, we believe in freedom of expression. It was only the cranks, like the evangelical Christians, I think it was Jack Thompson at the time who was a big campaigner for it, who wanted it banned. And like they came up with like more 18 certificates for games and things and other legislation like that didn't outright ban it. They never would have dreamt of doing something like this. And before that, in the 80s, it was what they call video nasties, where it was like, oh, they can get videos on VHS now. What if a kid sees these horror films, you know? And before that, in the 70s, it's like the punk movement, and like all these 19-year-olds like spitting on each other and taking speed and stuff. And like you hear about like every time the Sex Pistols had a concert, like all these evangelical Christians were protesting outside. But it was never the thing of like the government coming in and saying, oh, you need an 18 ID to buy Never Mind the Bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Like before, like there was always like, well, we know it's bad, but we believe in freedom of speech. We're not going to do this draconic thing where we're snooping on everyone. And the big shift that is quite frightening is that you see the people who are defending this online, and it's like, I'm in favour of it, I got kids, you know, I want to ruin it for everyone. And the idea of freedom of expression, even if it's something that we disagree with, something that we don't like, the idea that it shouldn't be banned, because then when there's something that we do like that might be a bit controversial, we'll be able to have the thing. But like this sets a precedent that everything that's a little bit controversial should just be banned, and have this like really invasive legislation where they're like, you're having to show your ID, the websites are having to spend loads of money, and like maybe like websites might leave the UK and not be available. Because we saw this with the Online Safety Act. We saw this exact same thing where like the image website Imgur, which if you go on Reddit you would have used all the time, and they were just like, this is too expensive for us to implement, we don't want to enforce it, we don't want to get fined by Ofcom, we're just going to block everyone from the UK from using our website. And now you can't use that, which is a legitimate resource, but because people might have put a few pictures of, you know, a woman who's over the age of 18, who's maybe not wearing that many clothes on that image sharing website that people use for legitimate reasons, because some people might have used it for that, then no one can use it. And so there's a sense of spoiling it for everyone. Because I'm rambling, I'm doing this off the cuff, I forgot until this point in the video, am I even holding that under the camera? I don't know. Sorry, this channel, hopefully it gets a lot better at some point. It might take a few videos. What was I saying? Yeah, because I'm doing this off the cuff, I'm going to start maybe using scripts, maybe next time. I forgot to mention one of the main points that I was going to mention. One of the main points that I mentioned yesterday was the main thing that upset me looking at this on Reddit. You had three groups of people. You had the first group of people who were just idiots who were trying to defend it. You had the second group of people who were going on about pretty much what I've said so far, which is, you know, the security issues, the privacy issues, the fact that this is the sort of thing that they do in East Germany before the wall fell, all that sort of thing. But the thing that upset me the most was the comments where it was like, stuff like, my son uses YouTube, he uses it for educational purposes, it's got him into a hobby, he wouldn't have discovered that hobby without it, it's something that might lead to a career, and that's going to be blocked off for future generations. It was things like, my son has a close friend who's had to move town because his parents got a different job or whatever. He only talks to him on social media now. Either I'm going to have to tell him to break the law, or he's going to be down one friend, right? And going in that theme, because yesterday it was more like anecdotal evidence. Going on with that theme, I thought I'd give some more like actual evidence. And the first one, like I'm going to do a separate video on it. If you look at the box, this is going to be a tangent, by the way. If you look at the box office at the moment, there's two like indie films that are like embarrassing the big Marvel-esque films that are coming out that like everyone's sick of. You know, the Thousands, the equal of it, the adaptation of some cartoon from the 80s that no one cares about because the target audience are too young to remember it. Like, they've been beaten the shit out by these 2 horror films that are low budget. And one of them is The Backrooms, which is directed by a 20-year-old kid. And this 20-year-old kid is based on his YouTube series that he started when he was 15. He started this YouTube series when he was 15. It was mainly about him practicing, learning skills with, you know, like Blender and video editing and stuff like that. And it was an excuse to make these videos based on this horror post on the internet, on this forum. And he started when he was 15, and now he's directing one of the biggest, A24's highest grossing film. And the sad thing is, if the social media ban had been a thing back then, he would have not had YouTube, he would not have been allowed on YouTube, and he would not have been able to make those videos when he was 15, and now would not be directing this massive runaway hit. So this blanket ban, like, oh, save the kids from the sick filth kind of thing, it's just really wrong-headed. Another example is my nephew competed at like quite a high level at what they call speed cubing, which is where they solve Rubik's cubes as fast as they can, and it's the sort of thing where he's a kid and he was competing against the world champion, but the world champion is also like 10 years old as well, and he would never have got into that if it wasn't for YouTube. And they're including that in the ban, and as well, they're like including video games, so like multiplayer video games. I know there's like the famous thing is like in the Xbox 360 era with like, oh no, kids swearing at each other and Call of Duty or whatever. But like, I was talking to someone and they were like, oh, when I was young, you know, in the pandemic, like being able to talk to my friends over Fortnite was like a lifesaver, and like all that's going away. And yeah, it goes back to the Tabernacle's point of parents, as long as it's like, oh, think of the children, like kind of selfishly, like wanting the state to parent their children, when, you know, like it's not it's not like it was in like the 30s. Like, contraceptives exist, you can get them, like, it's your choice to have children, and they just think that because they've been stupid enough to have children, everyone else who's an adult should be like punished for it, because they can't use the parental controls that exist. They don't trust them. They just want to ban things for everyone. Yeah, the idea with these videos was that I'd just ramble on about stuff while painting these models, so it could be sort of like a tutorial as well as me talking about whatever it is that I'm interested in. I mean, I'm not sure this is going to be a political channel, but if something political happens that I'm interested in, current affairs, I will talk about it like I'm doing today. But today, because I did the video yesterday that I didn't film properly, I've sort of run out of things I want to say before I finish painting the model, so I might as well make it into a proper tutorial. Basically, I've been something that coincidentally you won't be able to do after this horrible ban comes in. I've been looking on YouTube about what they call this slap chop method, which is where you prime the model black and then you do like a heavy, quite almost paint it in, dry brush with several shades of grey, and then contrast paint over the top. And the contrast paint, because it's like see-through, you get quite a lot of depth. But I saw another video where you can get a metallic effect by doing the same thing but with a metallic paint for your dry brushing. And I've started off with this one, Lead Belcher, which is quite a dark metallic one, and I did that on my Space Marines. But my Space Marines were like a little bit too dark. They didn't look shiny enough, because I really did want a metallic kind of effect. So I went and bought this, which is the AK quite good. I've got their black one as well. And this one, when you put it on the palette, it looks really white, but it dries silver and it's like meant to be aluminium. And I'm doing the lighter instead of doing white with this, because I want it to look shiny underneath the red. And just dry brushing this on top, instead of using a white, makes it a lot more metallic looking than just using this, because this one's quite dark. And also as well, I'm leaving quite a lot of the details just with it, because it is quite a heavy dry brush. It's almost like I'm painting it. Leaving a lot of the details just silver underneath. So I'm not actually doing that much work in terms of the painting it, but it does look quite detailed. But I've been a bit sloppy, because I knew I was running out of time with what I wanted to say, and they're not as good as the ones I did yesterday that I didn't film. So yeah. And then going over with Blood Angels red contrast paint, and I hope you can, well, I mean, I'm quite new to Warhammer, but I hope you can see that it's been quite effective. And then I'll go through some of the details. I wasn't sure if I was going to edit these videos down, but I might edit this one, because I am taking quite a long time to do this, and haven't got enough things to say. I got quite angry about it yesterday, which is why I'm going to upload the video as well, because I was quite passionate. It's one of those videos where you just start talking, and then you just feel like you can't stop talking, and the words come really easy, and you've not planned it, but you get out everything you want to say. But my point is, it's quite scary, the things that people are willing to accept, they wouldn't accept otherwise, as long as they use the excuse like, oh, but the children, and it is quite controlling of the parents, like 15-year-olds. We want to like snoop on everything you do online, because what the people writing these laws don't understand is that social media these days, especially YouTube and things like that, is a lot more like what TV used to be for them. Because I remember, like, because my job, like, quite a lot of young people worked there. We had this young KP who was doing his A-levels, and I was just talking to him one day, and I was like, oh, have you seen anything interesting on TV recently? You know, just making conversation. And he's like, oh no, I don't really watch TV. And I don't watch TV either. That's the thing. I just watch everything online. I watch Netflix, I watch Prime TV. If I do watch the BBC, it'll be iPlayer. TV was something I watched when I was younger, you know. But even then he was like, well, I watched like the Sidemen on YouTube, and obviously I'm too old to have heard what that is. I have no idea what that is. But like, he's older now, he's gone off to uni, but if he was a few years younger, he wouldn't be able to watch that unless he's going to break the law. And it's kind of, I know there's bad stuff on social media, but it's kind of ridiculous. And as I say, in the past, there was always some kind of moral panic. You know, in the 80s, it was like, oh, if you play this record backwards, it's like the devil telling you stuff to do and stuff, and satanic messages and all this rubbish. But like in the past, the cooler heads were prevailing. It was only like properly right-wing pressure groups saying that. But now it's like, oh, let's ban porn, let's ban social media, you know. And as I was saying yesterday, it's like they're just going to come for more and more stuff, because everyone at first is going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter because I'll just use a VPN. And it does matter because, like, sometimes they're slow, and especially with YouTube, it's video. So, you know, that's going to harm your viewing experience. But, like, now they ban this, and if people don't complain and there's too many people going, oh, I like it because I can't be bothered to parent properly, you know, you should be punished when I'm the one who can't use contraceptives, which in this day and age are easy to get hold of, you know, everyone else should be punished because I can't be bothered to parent. And so they're actually in support of it. And then what they're going to do next, they're going to ban VPNs, and then, because this is going to change the way the internet is, everything that you're able to look at the internet on is going to be, it's already like this already, but even worse, is going to be something that an oligarch wants you to see, something that Palantir want you to see. It's not going to be the free place, liberal place, libertarian place it was. Oh, I'm going to have to go over this. It's rubbish. It was before, and we're not going to get it back, because if a government comes in and said they want to reverse this, there'll be all this boot off about, oh, but think of the children. Like, once freedoms are gone, they're so hard to get back. Because, as I was saying yesterday, like, the reason they've been able to get away with this, I think, is that social media is like relatively new. It's about 20 years old, so it's not like they're banning TV or something. But like when we were young, I'm old, when we were young, like they had page 3 and stuff like that, and so it's like just a newspaper, and there's like on page 3 there's stuff that would be banned under the Online Safety Act, and it's just there in a newspaper. And like you had Loaded magazine, you had Nuts and Zoo, and they were terrible things. They were terrible things, but we treated people like adults, and you could buy them. Like, I remember buying that magazine when I was like 16 or something, and it goes back to this thing where, like, this I wouldn't support it still, but this ban would be almost better if it was like from like 12 years old or something. You could justify it a lot more, but like 16, 15, 14, you're on your way to growing up, and you need, I think you'd be a more fully rounded adult if you've been introduced to certain things. You know, it's ridiculous to saying that 16-year-olds shouldn't be able to talk to each other on Fortnite, and yet not only should they be allowed to vote, but they should be allowed to, like, sleep with each other, which is like, there's a risk of getting pregnant and then you've ruined your life. And it's just, oh, we can't parent, there's tools that exist, so we're just going to let Palantir have all our data, you know. And going back to the online, and it all started with the Online Safety Act, which people didn't push against enough. And it's quite clever, that, because obviously, like, people are a bit this is the thing. Like, I mentioned the magazines that existed when I was younger, and the reason was there wasn't this prudishness. And the shame is it's nowadays the prudishness, like back then, the prudishness only used to come from like Christians and stuff, and that was on the way out. But the prudishness is coming now from like feminists, and it's like, oh no, we can't have porn. But it's like, the Online Safety Act's ridiculous because I'm really old, but I have to give over my ID to look at material that's perfectly legal. It's just a picture of a naked woman who's over the age of 18. It's not that much of a big deal in the grand scheme of things. You know, it's a perfectly natural thing, and I'm not allowed to look at that unless I give my very sensitive personal data over to some corporation in America, in Trump's America, where he's liable to like give that data to Mr. Palantir or whatever. You've not heard of them. They're liable to lose your data, you know. You're taking a big risk, and it's like, and it shouldn't affect me because I'm over 18. I should be able to look at whatever I want online, well, as long as it's not illegal, you know, as long as it involves consenting adults, I should be able to look at whatever the hell I want online because I'm over 18. And this draconic think of the children, people who can't parent, can't use the tools, so they're going to punish everyone else when they should have just chosen not to have kids. Punishing me, who's like really old, and I still having to give my ID over to look at perfectly vanilla kind of thing. And like in my city, right, and the feminists are massively in favour of it. I talked to feminists at the time, and they're like, oh, you know, can't have that. And like, to give an example of it, in my city, the feminist campaign against the strip club got it shut down. Like, all the women that worked there lost their jobs, and you know, at the end of the day, that's harmless fun. But the thing is, it's hilarious, especially with this Online Safety Act, especially with this social media ban in my country now, right? Social media is banned, porn's effectively banned. Strip clubs, the feminists get them shut down, right, whenever they appear. Prostitution in my country is legal. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it's like, oh, and in my city where they got this strip club shut down, there's like more than one brothel. And like, obviously with that, there's all sorts of problems with human trafficking and really horrible stuff going on that happens in that sort of industry. And that as well, like in brothels and things, I'm going way off topic here, and it might get banned on YouTube. This is the thing with wanting to ban everything. Like with brothels and stuff, like there's human trafficking going on, but there used to be like websites that they could use. There's a lot less, because it's like, just Louis Theroux did a documentary on it. I'll link it in the bio. It's on iPlayer. It's really interesting. It's just like normal people who use this website for a bit of extra money and whatever. But because of the Online Safety Act, you can't access that now without a VPN. And you know, the feminists are always like, oh, porn's exploitative and blah, blah, blah. But actually it's not, because after the advent of OnlyFans and now Pornhub for the amateur content works the same way, the performers, the adult actresses, are getting, they like essentially run their own business, and they're getting a cut off of the profits off their subscribers off of Pornhub or OnlyFans. So like, I'm gonna, like, what the Marxists called surplus value of the labour, they're keeping that. It's not like in the old days where they're working for someone and getting paid a wage. They're keeping the profit that they earn from that. But obviously, because of all this prudishness and this Online Safety Act, that's all. Well, it's effectively, it's not banned, but if you want to look at it, you're taking the risk of having your data stolen, which is unfair. Yeah, so it's not